So much for joining us tonight. Enjoy the game. Intero, Crazy, take it away.
Folks, oops, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say thank you. That was it.
Oh, okay. Folks, buckle in, get ready. This is going to be a wild ride. This is going to be a long ride, and it's going to be exciting the entire way, I'm hoping. Seeing these two teams' histories, it just should promise to be an exciting match. And with what we saw before, I'm expecting something even more wild. This is a best of 5, and we are getting prepared to go into it. Coastline, first round, Hydra defending in kitchen and service entrance right out of the gates, something that you might not normally see.
So it's Hydra who's going to start off with something outside of the ordinary. All right, we'll see how it works for them. I think the one thing to take away with this map system, the way that we have Coastline, Cafe, Border, Oregon, Chalet, you have to be able to envision Homeless losing 3 of these. I just don't see it. So that is going to be the goal for Hydra is if Hydra loses Coastline, then there's still Border and Oregon, which should conceivably go into the pocket of Homeless. But I mean, you never know. It's going to be an exciting matchup, like you said, and it's really cool to be able to do the second grand finals for CCS. It's nice to have been a part. A big shout out to Ty Tangles and the Third Walker for overseeing and administering all of this and all that jazz. I know we'll do some proper thank yous at the end when Ty closes off the broadcast, but I just wanted to say from my perspective that it's really nice to be able to participate in what could be my final CCS matchup, and I couldn't think of 2 better teams to do this with. So let's get underway with round number 1. Castle defense in store at the moment for Hydra. And I imagine we're just going to see Homeless storm the gates and put immediate pressure on the defense.
We do see Pojo on that Blackbeard, so he's probably going to be a little feisty running in there with that Hotan. What is it? Hotan, everyone says? I keep saying it's hot and cold. I know a lot of people call him Hotan. So I'll just try calling him that from now on. It's a lot easier to say, but him on that Ash is deadly, menacing, terrifying, horrifying, all kinds of different words that make me scared. And it would scare you too if you were up against it. But they are getting underway, getting those drones in there, figuring out everything that they need to before they start pushing in too far. And it looks like the attackers are starting to move into the building with some shots going onto Hotan. Hotan? Ty said something in protection chat. I'm not sure how I'm supposed to read that. How do you say it, Natera?
Hot and cold. We call him Hotan. You can do either. Just call him Hot and Cold or HNC. It doesn't really matter. The Chief Goob himself, Matthew, Matty, you know, whatever you want. He's got a lot of different names. Just rotate through them.
I'll try to keep all those in mind throughout the rest of this match, but that's a lot of them. But Adam is going to get the first kill onto Aviation, getting this round underway.
Unsurprising to see Homeless get the lead-off kill, though. It is the Castle down. Not usually the first operator to go in the fight, but you see Jarvis drops, vaults out onto the top of Courtyard. Nick's able to down him, but can't follow up. And running barbed wire means that no impact's available for him to just take out Jarvis as he lies bleeding out on top of the overhang in the Courtyard.
This is not a good position to be down to, though, because it is pretty vulnerable when you do go to try to pick them up. But Pojo is going to get the kill onto Nyx now. That Blackbeard shield saving his life, as the Hibana is now going to get picked up by Adam.
So already Homeless gets 2 early frags. Nick, who had taken out Jarvis, ends up paying for it with his life as Jarvis gets picked back up, and Mail now on rotate. Sounds like he was under fire, but just goes prone as it's Mint just waiting for that head of the bandit to pop up. And could manage to get away if he puts his speed to good use. Houghton comes in, takes out Rudy Cat, and will now fire away at B as Jarvis eliminates Mail, and it's all up to RTC. Houghton through the wall, flawless start as Homeless R6 kills them all and doesn't lose a single operator in the process.
An impressive first round coming in from Homeless. It was pretty expected. I'm sure most of us were expecting them to really come in that hot, but I was not expecting Hydra to really not be able to pick any of them off. I thought they would be able to put up a little bit more of a fight on that first round, but maybe for now they're just trying to find their footing, get themselves ready for the rest of this matchup, and just figure out what it is that they need to do.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can.
The roamers were hunted down very, very quickly, and I think another big thing too is that strats aside, it's the raw aim of Homeless that I think is going to be most daunting to get over, because a lot of those guys, they don't miss their shots. They're going to peek you all enough that, you know, you're going to lose those fights unless you're absolutely prepared. So for Hydra, fight for trades and establish the crossfires, and don't try to engage 1v1, which is what happened last time. They lost every 1v1 engagement they wound up in, and it was just capitalization from Homeless to take round number 1.
Yeah, it was fantastic work from them. Hydra did make their mistakes. I'm sure they're going to pick up on them and learn from them as we start moving into the next round. Most of the defenders starting up over by that pool, or most of the attackers, I should say, starting up over by that pool area. They're just going to kind of work their way towards the site. It looks like there's 2 defending roamers on the 2nd floor right now, and I think that's going to be Hydra's first point of attack.
And they'll drone away. Mint on Legion Roam, or rather aggressive site. Well, no, Roam back down in kitchen as well. My apologies. I had somehow mistaken the sites. Jarvis will get droned out, but look at that. Ella doesn't even need to move. Why? Because she's Ella, and that's just what she does, sticking around. Capitao is an interesting operator that we haven't seen a lot of today, even after the changes. Could be just because his changes haven't made him that much more effective, though it has certainly improved him as an operator. Or it could just be that because the strats being the way they are, being as developed as they are, Hydra doesn't want to, or none of these teams want to really insert a Capitao when they've already got their existing strats to go through. Hydra might have some strats with him in mind.
It all comes down to what they've planned, what they've prepared, what they've practiced, but RTC is going to come in here. They're picking a fight with the Ella right now, getting some damage onto Jarvis, but there's 2 of them sitting in that hallway now. Jarvis kind of pinned in the bathroom as Adam is going to be down on the other side of the map. There it is, Aviation picking off Jarvis from the rooftop there, giving Hydra the ground that they need to take that top floor, as Adam is also down. I believe that was upstairs that I saw him.
That's the very first kill for Hydra as well, because they hadn't gotten one in the previous matchup. Male's going to sprint right in, takes so much damage from below. And it looked like Houghton did see one situated inside a bedroom. The Capitao and the Para. RTC will eliminate Adam. And you've lost your Rook as well as your Ella, but still a nice site presence from Houghton and Pojo, as well as Mint. And Pojo's going to be the one that is probably going to be the biggest point of contact. Mint waiting downstairs, just outside of security. A Legion Trap will be hit from Nyx, and Mint is just waiting. Another Legion Trap will break too, so that is 2 goo mines that have been used up quite well. And they will pick up the Hibana of Male, reset him. Mint still just waiting, final 30 seconds.
That patience paying off, though, as he takes out Aviation and Nyx, finally being traded off by Male. Houghton taking out Rudy and Male now. It's all down to RTC. He's against Pojo and Hot and Cold. It's slipping me up trying to say it another way. But he has to try something to take this round back. He's going to rush into the bathroom, taking a lot of damage from that smoke canister on his way in, rushing in towards site, but they are on both sides of him, and there is no way he was making it any further.
What a good hold from Homeless as well. They were in a position where they were down in a 3v5 and still came back and took out 5 unanswered. Didn't lose a single member of their team after that point onward, and Houghton off to an excellent start. No deaths so far for him or Mr. Digest himself, Pojo man. So 2-0 already. They won kitchen, which means that you can go to any of those 3 sites. Aviation, so we'll see where Flipside is going to go in round number 4. Back to kitchen though for Hydra, and they'll try something that didn't work the first time around and hope for better results the second time. Like I said, try to go for crossfires, try to go for trades, because contesting them 1v1 hasn't worked either time.
And against a team like Homeless, as you said before, it's not going to work ever. You have to, well, it might work, but the chances are slim to none. We've seen a Hydra improve immensely throughout this season, throughout last season. They just continue. This is a team that's dedicated, and they're willing to practice. They're willing to improve, and it shows for them. But they're still up against Homeless, which is going to be one of the hardest teams for them to really try to win this match against. But they are here for a reason. They did make it to the finals for a reason. So let's see if they're able to show us what they've got as we move into round 3 with Homeless up 2-0 right now.
Breaking windows, potentially go for a run out. That's also the kind of thing that I mean, they're not going to miss their shots, so you don't really want to do it because you usually will get traded off. But that's also a situation where you could go for a run out specifically to frustrate the attackers, or potentially. Not really seeing it right now. Pojo on Blackbeard as he starts to work his way through the bottom bars. You've got a spearheaded push, or a multi-headed push rather, as you can see 2 around separate angles. Mint by Aquarium. Pojo downstairs under bar. A 2-pronged attack was what I was going for, as my brain once again disengaged for just a moment. And it's Aviation who could be the first casualty. Nick's situated there waiting for him as well. RTC takes out Houghton. He'll get droned out, so Nyx will have to flee. You've lost your Ash and competent fragging potential, but not much utility that has disappeared.
Now, but they did lose a pretty powerful entry fragger and a pretty powerful player. The rest of the team does tend to make up for it, but we'll see if they're able to for the rest of this round. It looks like their attack this time has been a lot slower than what we saw before. And I'm sure that these roamers floating around still up by Aquarium, still up in Hookah, are a major part of that, delaying this attack as much as possible. We're getting down close to the minute marker, and Nyx is taking a fight with Sledge on the stairwell. He's going to win the fight with almost no health left. He's going to fall back into Hookah. Now he's going to get the shots towards the Hibana, but Jarvis is going to win that fight there, taking down Nyx. It is a 3v4 right now in favor of Hydra. It looks like things are starting to slow down, but again, Mail taking out Mint as I'm trying to say that. It's a 2v4 now, and things not looking great for Homeless. We'll see if Jarvis and Pojo are able to bring this round back.
Final 45. We saw how well they can work together when there's only 2 or 3 members of Homeless left, but a completely different ball game when you've still got Mira as well as a smoke up, and Pojo is just going to have to wait patiently outside of the doorway into kitchen as another smoke goes off, and that will cut him off from pushing in without taking a lot of damage. And that, slower than a 3 armor that Blackbeard will be, he'll take a lot of it if he does choose to push in, and another smoke goes down. These are very well timed. Pojo deploying a different rifle shield this time as it sustains some damage. They're going to have to push in through kitchen. Jarvis comes right in, sees the bandit. He'll finish off Mail, but can't contend with Rudy Cat as Mail jumps in as well, and down goes Pojo. And that is a flurry of action as Hydra takes their first round. After Pojo had been down, he'll just bleed out. Great work from Hydra. And yeah, a much better defense that time around.
They did very well with those roamers delaying as much as they did. They bought all the time that they needed. They got the kills that they needed as well. Bringing it down that far on the timer, giving the smoke the chance to just deny the attackers an easy push onto site. It's fantastic. I mean, even if there was still, 3 members of Hydra left staying, just 3 of them against Jarvis and Pojo there, as long as that smoke was still there to deny the entry, things were definitely very much in their favor. And we are going to see actually a blue bar and a sunrise bar coming out from Homeless. We didn't see this site earlier, I believe. Did we see? I don't think we saw kitchen and service. But I know for a fact we didn't see this site. And I don't see this site get picked very often.
No, this is probably the least seen of them all, but popular among certain teams and strats they run. I know we saw it a lot in the Pro League when it was Supremacy versus I Don't Know competing against one another. And yeah, we saw Kitchen last time, again in Ronin versus Nomads, but just once if I recall correctly. And now we'll see the 4th and final bomb site get played today as they opt to go in both the Sunrise and Blue Bar. And a site that is a little bit more defendable, I think, now than people gave it credit for on first blush. We'll see how Homeless makes it work.
It was one of those sites that just kind of took a lot more time to really figure out what you have to do specifically to really play it very well. Billiards and Hookah and then Theater and Penthouse are a bit more straightforward. There's pretty common things that you'll do when you have to hold those sites. and you'll see those common things kind of come through, even with strats that are specifically developed by teams. A lot of things just kind of carry on, and you'll see them everywhere. But it looks like the attackers or Hydra is just taking their time, droning it out, getting as much intel as possible, which is a very smart thing to do. I've probably said those exact words already during this match, but it's smart of them to really take their time with this. You'll see Homeless kind of go in a little bit more aggressive, but that's because they're a much more experienced team. They've been around a lot longer, and they're much more skilled players, and they have the capability of pushing in with that much aggression. Whereas with Hydra, they really need to go back to the roots of the game. They need to go to drones. They need to go to grabbing as much intel as possible and just, out planning and out positioning their opponents. But Adam is going to get the first shot on the Aviation. That was the Buck that was above, trying to get the shot there, but he ended up losing the fight, kicking off this round. Minute and 30 left on the timer.
A good start for Homeless. Try to hold this together. We'll see some more rotations being done now, but Rudy Cat is there to catch it as Mint unable to get up Cool Vibe stairs. He gets eliminated by the Blackbeard that was playing just up top. And look, you got a roaming Mira, not something you see every day.
Unless it's Pojo. Pojo you see roaming with Mira every day.
unless it's Pojo. Similar to the roaming Rook and the roaming Doc. Houghton finished off from above. That's a good play from Mail to put pressure on the defense from above. Jarvis, though, eliminates Nyx, so both teams will trade off one operator. And now Rudy Cat trying to eliminate Pojo does some considerable damage. Rudy finishing off Jarvis, but Pojo a double kill as Rudy Cat and RTC get fouled before Mail is there to intercept and finish off Poj, leaving it just up against Adam and Mail. And Adam, a big clutch that we saw on Wednesday. Mail trying to pressure inside, but is not going to be able to get through. Keep the way that those bars are situated. Adam spies the Hibana, and both sidearms will go to work. A rotate hole cleverly used by Adam to get from Sunrise inside a blue bar. Hibana will get marked over and over. Maybe looks to push inside. Adam goes for a reload, and the Hibana drops. That SMG-11 is just too strong. Mail gets finished off, and Homeless go up 3-1.
A back and forth round. Pojo, the roaming Mira, getting that double kill up there was incredible. But in the end, I think it was Mail just kind of taking a little bit too long to push that smoke. I think if he had been a little bit more aggressive against that smoke, maybe gone in through Sunrise instead of going straight into Blue, things would have gone a bit differently. But it's really hard in a situation like that. It's very intense on the player. They need to figure out what they're going to do. Sometimes you have the IGL giving you a little bit of tips here and there, giving advice, saying, no, don't go that way, go this way. And things don't always go the best. We can see a lot more than they can see. We have a lot more time to process, or it feels like we have a lot more time to process what they should and shouldn't do. And it's a lot harder for them to make these decisions in the little amount of time that they have. Nonetheless, very impressive from Homeless, running out time like that, running down the clock, and then winning that 1v1. Good job, Adam, for taking out Mail at the end there. And what we're seeing so far is just sights being mirrored between the two teams. Now we have Blue and Sunrise being picked by Hydra.
So they're just going to mirror each other. I like it, though. I do like it. I like that we're seeing this site get used more and more often. And we'd seen it established, especially this past season, in all levels of play. So they begin their push, a lot heading in through Ruins. Right now, Homeless firmly in the driver's seat, though. It was a very resounding victory in round number 3. And because of them winning this site, or because of them winning Kitchen, they had to go elsewhere, and that's why we saw the Sunrise Blue Bar last round. They can go back to Kitchen if they so choose. Mail just missing that drone that skirts its way under the castle barricade. And one of those reinforced walls next to Mail will be taken out. And a nice sight in, and what a shot! As Pojo will down him, but not be able to finish him off, though Aviation will be there with waiting arms to pick him back up. Adam gets shot at from the second balcony in the coastline from Nyx, just outside of Master Bedroom, and VIP, or Record Hall rather, to be more specific, or Hall of Fame. Nyx manages to get away, losing just under half of his health. Mail, of course, getting picked up too. A frag grenade will roll through, deal some damage to Mail, and get the castle barricade. And that is Mail still just holding on to that position.
minute 50 left on the timer. Not a lot of action happening right now. It seems like the attackers are just trying to get to positions that they're a bit more comfortable in. Aviation throwing out that impact, trying to get rid of that Blackbeard shield, but it's actually just going to fall quite a bit short there, not really doing anything. Male being pretty low health, holding a very aggressive angle, and it could be costly. That hatch is now going to get opened up by the sledge, and that's going to give the defenders even less room that they can kind of sit in safely on that site.
It's lots of explosions from above will open up greater sight lines for the attack. My voice appears to be just like slowly giving out. Adam with just a tiny bit of health will drop a frag grenade, and Pojo, who was unable to get a kill earlier on Male, will finally get one. This time on the Rudy Cat, though, Nyx runs out, and he will claim Mint and go right back in. Smart use of that hole in the door barricade to get outside. Pojo, kill number 2, as he will finally finish off Male as well. And now looked designed to cut off that rotate from the Ella of Nyx, but his rifle shield will obscure the run in from the bar and will allow Nyx to get back closer to sight.
It looks like the attackers are finally going to start dropping on a site, and one of them being down as they dropped in. Jarvis taking out RTC, Aviation finishing off Hot and Cold. Adam taking out Aviation now, putting it to a 3v1. It's all up to Nyx, who's trying to fight for his life from inside a blue bar. Hibana pushing towards him, Sledge pushing towards him. Blackbeard, all eyes are on Nyx right now. He's in a 1v3, and the attackers have every angle against him. He has to try to make his way back on a site and get that diffuser, which means, ooh, Jarvis is going to get the shot to finish him off from the hallway. Actually, from kitchen.
A beautiful shot. And just a pixel peek right through that doorway. So now they're on match point.
Yeah, first map, it's going to match point. So, I mean, Hot and Cold's confidence in the interview kind of sticking with him so far. So it didn't give him bad luck so far that he said that, which is good. But I mean, all-around performance coming out from Homeless. I didn't actually fully read the scoreboard there, so if we could take a quick look at that again real quick. Nope, but we are going to
shut down.
Yeah. So Pojo with 5 kills, Jarvis 6, Adam 4, Hot and Cold 5, and then Mint with 2. So all-around performance coming out from Homeless. This is what you will expect to see all of the time from these players. They're incredibly consistent players. You know, a lot of players, most of the time, you're gonna have bad games now and then. But I think I've seen the least bad games from the members of Homeless. Pojo more than the rest of them, really having bad games frequently, semi-frequently, however you decide to phrase it. But so far, you know, they're just, the entire team is filling in exactly as they need to. There's no one that's carrying them. There's no one that's really dragging them down. And a team coordination like that is going to be extremely hard for Hydra to go up against when you have some of their more star players along the lines of like Nyx and I want to say Rudy Cat being one of the other players on Hydra that does seem to be one of their more star players. Jarvis is going to be running around on that Ella though, trying to delay some time. What are we? It's kitchen and service entrance once again. So we haven't seen any upstairs sites during this matchup.
No, they just keep spamming the bottom floor, which honestly is fine by me because it at least leads to a very exciting showing. And this is a similar composition to what we saw Homeless excel with last time as they come right in, and Hydra able to take somewhat control of Hall of Fame and VIP 2. Now, the one interesting thing about Coastline is that a lot of maps you need to take control of the upstairs before you can really take control of the site itself. It could just be because of the way that the floors are structured. There aren't a lot of hatches available on Coastline. Could also just simply be because that it's only 2 floors. But you don't really need to take full control of the upstairs on Coastline in order to start a successful defense or successful attack and flush out the defense. You can see, though, that right now, Hydra almost fully in position to start clamping down on the site. You've got Rudy Cat posted up on the window with that Blackbeard shield available for him. Buck working way up top, and Aviation almost running out of skeleton keys. Saw the leg of what appeared to be Mint, and oh no! The smoke of Pojo, who was on camera, gets off just in time and manages to get out of the way of the Buck from above. And now Pojo opening up his own access point to see if anybody above is going to throw through his line of sight.
The skeleton key is going to come into play to take out Pojo, though, from above. Aviation finishing that kill off pretty grandly, as the attackers are still mostly upstairs. They have a lot of ground that they need to cover downstairs, and only 45 seconds left to do so. One of the defenders has fallen, and most importantly from that, it is Smoke. Hot and Cold is going to take out Aviation as Nyx comes around for the trade, takes out Hot and Cold, and now it looks like the attackers are starting to get a little bit more aggressive down towards site, and Nyx is going to push in, not get the shots. Jarvis is going to get the kill onto Nyx. It's a 3v3 now as the attackers have the diffuser. I think he was upstairs a moment ago. They might have grabbed it now. Orange has just dropped the diffuser. So Mail being taken down by Adam. He's going to drop the diffuser, I believe. And the Rook behind the bomb is going to come around the corner. He's going to take out Rudy Cat, putting it down to RTC, who's in the main lobby, challenging Mint right now. He's going to get the kill, push into bathroom, not get his shots off onto Adam. Adam's going to get the kill to finish it up. Map
Adam.
1 is going to go.
I feel like you just need to scream Adam, by the way. I
Right.
feel like you just need to, and I know that he appreciates it. So if you want to, at any point in the broadcast, just scream Adam as loud as you can. That's all you need to say.
All right, I definitely will. So, great job, Homeless, taking that first map, and specifically Adam for taking that final kill there onto RTC. Look at that, just right across the board for Homeless. Pretty balanced out in terms of kills. You've got 7 kills on Jarvis, 5 on Pojo, 7 on Adam, 6 on Hot and Cold, and 2 on Mint. Mint not getting as many kills as the rest of his team, but he still does tend to provide a lot of very strong support. I know Mint and Hot and Cold typically tend to be 2 of the higher fraggers for them. But as was said by Hot and Cold during the interview, they are kind of just switching up the roles and trying to figure out if any of the players on that team really do fit well into other roles.
Mint cold, but that's okay. He had a monstrous Wednesday and can come alive at any time. That's the other thing too, and I feel like I say it every single matchup, but what really separates the good teams from the great teams is the depth on the actual teams themselves. When you have a team like Homeless, if one of them goes cold, that's okay. There are no carries. Every single member of that team can pitch in and easily top frag if need be. We've seen Adam do it. We've seen Mint do it. We've seen Houghton do it. We've seen Jarvis and of course Pojo. Hydra has depth as well, but I mean, it's more about being practiced and competing at that high level that we've seen Homeless do that. We'll go to Hydra's map though, Cafe Dostoevsky, for map number 2 between these two teams. Here in the grand finals, Homeless is up 1-0, and starting on defense will be Homeless. Are we going to see a kitchen bakery is the question that I know people in chat were asking, and I'm sure is a question on everybody's mind right now.
With Homeless being in the match right now, I'm definitely assuming we're going to see a kitchen bakery. But for the first site, we are going to see bar and cocktail lounge, a pretty standard first pick, a pretty easy site to hold as long as you position yourselves correctly. And especially with a team like Homeless, they have very strong roam games, so it's going to be extremely easy for them to really keep control of Piano. And then they're probably going to have Mint somewhere running around on the second floor, pulsing from below. He can throw his C4 up and stop them as they push in and try to get a plant inside of bar. So, and then we're going to have Adam on the Mira. He's probably going to put some Mira windows, one inside of bathroom, presumably one inside of back storage. Gives them a very good line of, or no, I should say one in bathroom and then one on the wall next to cocktail that's looking towards Piano. Because I've seen a lot of teams now have been doing that rather than having both of the Mira windows kind of like up next to the bathroom wall. It does give you a much longer line of sight and gives you the ability to deny someone if they do get into bathroom and try to push into back room through bathroom.
Adam not running the ACOG at all. Instead, sitting on the Mira. That ACOG is going to go to Pojo, who is now on the Echo. And they'd said that they were playing up roles. We saw Pojo playing Echo an awful lot on Wednesday, especially on Bank in the basement. They said that they were going to be experimenting with roles. You've now got Mint on Pulse. Jarvis is going to stick on the Ella. So these seem to be the changes they need rather than having Houghton run the Ella. They'll have Houghton on Bandit, so more utility than just pure fragging potential. And then, of course, Pojo likely is going to be sitting in Adam's spot in Cocktail. That would be my assumption, at least.
we are going to see the Blackbeard get onto those west windows, a pretty typical spot. This Bandit C4 coming out is going to fall just below Rudy Cat. It's not going to take him out, thankfully. You want to keep that Blackbeard alive as long as you're able to. That window being bashed is going to scare Nyx a little bit. He's just going to go back up onto the rooftop, just play it a little bit safer. I believe it was Pojo that just decided to smack the window, scare him off a little bit. But so far, the attackers not really making much progress. I'm pretty sure most of them are still outside of the building at this point, actually. And we do have Hot and Cold is going to be playing inside the bathroom here. He has spotted out that Blackbeard. They know he's there. And right now, they're just not going to challenge it, which it's the smarter thing to do. You don't always want to challenge a Blackbeard. That shield will save his life more times than not.
Would you say that Pojo? Would you say that Pojo smacked that window just like Mint smacked the booty? Would you say that? I missed my Lamborghini doorway reference on Coastline. Okay, I had to get one of them in.
Ah, jeez. Mint with the C4 from below. I believe it was below. He's going to take out Aviation now. That Pulse C4 is now off the board, but it did get him a kill, which is good use of the utility. Nyx is going to get down. Hot and Cold is going to finish off Nyx. Mail taking out Jarvis in the meantime. Only one defender has fallen. Pojo is very low on health. He's going to be sitting inside a cocktail. Just barely misses the Habana head as she peeks around inside of Cigar Shop. RTC is going to be sitting up on top of that little counter there, watching for someone to try to flank from red. Blackbeard is going to be on the east windows, and the jump out from Pojo, he's going to take out Rudy Cat, and he's going to run back down. He's going to drop down. He's going to go for the safer route. Hot and Cold taking out Mail. Shots going towards the Capitao. It's both Mira and Bandit and Pulse all collapsing in on RTC to take him out as the defenders take round one.
What a volley! And Pojo, I can't believe he managed to get away with that already with how little health he had. Must have survived by the skin of his teeth with 1 or 2 health, getting back inside. And as an Echo, you're not going to get back in that quickly. First round goes once again to Homeless, and I got to think that this map plays strongly into their favor. A bit of a soft start from Hydra, and they'll need to find their footing given that this is their map. And I know I said that you were looking at the map bans and it basically imagine which 3 of those maps that Homeless needs to lose. Well, they're not going to lose Coastline, and if they don't lose Cafe, it means that they'd have to run the table, which means that Homeless wouldn't win either Border or Oregon. So I just think is a tough prospect. So for me, this is a must-win for Hydra. Yes, they will still be able to play that 3rd map after this, but doesn't bode well for them if they're not able to take this.
Yeah, they want to take this map. It gives them a little bit more of a safety moving into the 3rd map. You don't want to have too much pressure on you as you go into that 3rd map. But at this point, if we continue to see plays like that from Homeless, then we're definitely going to see them taking this map and making it very hard for Hydra to keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking to see how they shake up on this defense, because as much as I felt that Hydra's entry wasn't that great, their defense was
the drones.
It's a bit of a drone party over there. Their defense is what I think I really didn't get a good enough look at. Was that, you know, they on attack were challenging the defense 1 by 1 and losing. They weren't establishing those crossfires to try to get the defenders out of position. They did it well on a couple rounds on Coastline, but it didn't really pay dividends for them because they only did end up winning that 1 round. But, you know, nonetheless, I'm very curious to see how they do this defense, because this is a site that could be argued that it's more defensive favored than it is attacker favored. Especially if you can stop them from getting inside of as quickly as you can. Unfortunately for them, you can already see that Homeless has been able to get inside, as Aviation's going to get chased off by Houghton on the 2nd floor.
And Houghton is just working his way in through mining. He's going to start clearing out towards train. Those drones are just harassing the defenders right now. Aviation is going to be on the first floor. It looked like looks like the attackers are still just trying to get their drones in there. Aviation starting to work his way up red stairs as Adam gets a double kill onto Nyx and Mailman from inside of Cigar Lounge. Some incredible shots coming out from him, opening up a perfect slot for the attackers to start moving in from. But I think I just saw Aviation coming up behind them on red stairs. The Claymore is going to get shot, and the response is going to come from Adam, but Aviation is going to win the gunfight, putting it to a 3v4. Houghton is going to come back and take out Aviation, putting it to a 4v2. It is now all down to Smoke and Echo. Both of them can deny the plant, and Smoke can even deny them getting onto site if they buy just enough time. Mint is going to get a drone in. He's going to spot out Rudy Cat sitting there inside a freezer. The first smoke canister is going to come out and deny a little bit of entry there, making sure that they cannot capitalize off of that first drone, spotting him out. Another smoke canister is going to come out now as the Glaz is going to drop down into the barbed wire next to the bomb, but he's in smoke. RTC challenges it. He makes it out with his life somehow. One person coming down white hallway. Houghton is going to take out Rudy Cat. It's all down to RTC. All down to RTC, who takes out Hot and Cold, and Jarvis finishes it up by taking out RTC.
So homeless doing very well there, and yeah, action happening too quickly. So,
I mean, I kind of lost track of it for a second there because it looked like RTC was about to die to Habana coming down that white hallway. So I started saying that, but I spoke just a little bit too soon. The shots were just barely missed. But in the end, they did finish up the kill there. So good work from that Habana walking right down the white hallway. The defenders had no idea, and they were not prepared for it in the slightest. So it's going to be 2 rounds now in favor of Homeless.
A strong start for them, and it appears that the roster changes are not as detrimental as you would expect. Nice to see that they're able to try them out and actually have them pay off. Now they will go to the second floor of Train. Cafe plays out a bit samey, similar to Clubhouse and what was the other one that I said? Skyscraper. Skyscraper, there's a bit more diversity, but Cafe, I think, is very tried and true. You're almost never going to see Bakery Kitchen unless you are the team that was formerly known as Flipside. And then you're basically just going to see it back and forth between the two, and that's where we're at right now. When you look at this composition, they're bringing a Capitao with them and a Blackbeard. How are you using the Capitao and how are you using the Blackbeard to make this push for your teamwork?
I mean, they could use the Capitao to really get someone off of the mirror windows. You can get up above, and you could you open up an angle where you could kind of shoot straight into the doorway on Train. You can throw a fire arrow pretty close to that wall that's reinforced, and you can get someone to stop watching that mirror window. That does give you a slight opening to try to push in towards site. But that really just gives you a very short period of time. It looks like a grenade is going to come out over towards the Valkyrie, but Mint is going to get the kill on Aviation as he gets downed now. Nyx is going to be over here to try to finish up the kill. He's going to use one of his Ash charges to take out Mint, so that is a 1-to-1 trade. No real favor going towards either side there, except for the fact that Mint is now down. He was playing that Valkyrie. Ella on the roam over by the white stairs is going to start heading towards the first floor and see if she can get anything off of it. But some pretty fast action. We did not even hit the 2-minute marker yet by the time that they got that kill. Rudy Cat actually out on top of the scissor lift outside. I don't often see people really go out there, especially when the action has already started inside. Adam is going to be sitting nice and tight up in Cocktail, looking towards Piano, as his other mirror window is inside a bathroom, looking towards the same direction. Nyx's drone is going to get taken out by Houghton. Jarvis just kind of floating around and reading, trying to get anything he can, but it looks like most of the attackers are upstairs, are on the rooftop right now. Actually, all of them were. That was actually kind of a cool
their time,
camera angle.
You like that?
Yeah, that camera angle that Kaz just did, that was really cool. It was like something you would see in a movie as they're all rappelling down, just kind of like swinging out like that. It was good work.
And one of the unsung heroes is Kazrep and his camera work. It's been an absolute pleasure. I know we had CZ doing a lot of the camera work last season, and Kaz has been a more than capable replacement for him, and it's been really nice to have Kazrep around. So special thanks to him. And if we could see some love for Kazrep, I know that chat would love to do that. Now, final minute here, and I really appreciate that you've been able to step in as I am trying to constrain my voice. I want to give some appreciation to you as well. Hydra working their way up. Oh, stop. You got to keep a level head, unlike Hot and Cold right there, as Nyx eliminates him, and Jarvis now comes in, takes out Rudy Cat, but Nyx a double kill as he's able to take out the Ella, pushing up on him just inside of hallway at the bottom of red stairs. Will get hit by the Ella mine, and with just a tiny bit of health, drops prone. Capitao comes right in. RTC eliminates Adam as Adam is looking the other way, and now Pojo will have to contend with the Capitao, whose head he sees, but Mail eliminating Pojo, and Hydra will take their very first round. They will go up 1-0, and I don't. Mail just shot at the wall, and it's
Pojo
That's
says Battle Eye's
that's
coming for him.
That's
coming for him.
spicy. That is spicy nonetheless. So
A good round for Hydra, definitely a round that they needed. I'm sure that's going to bring their spirits back up just a little bit, showing them they're showing that they're not going to be completely shut out from these matches, and that's fantastic for a team like them. As you said, several of them I believe are underage, so we're not going to really see them in this lineup specifically in like Challenger League or Pro League, but over time I'm sure we'll see many of them show up to levels like that. And, you know, them showing right now that they can hold up against Homeless, even if it's just around here and there, you know, it's fantastic for them. It shows that they've improved from what we first saw when they first arrived in the competitive scene. And I'm only expecting them to grow.
I'm very much looking forward to seeing how they play out as well, and it should be good. And once again, the drone party assembling for their local electronics meeting just in the corner by I guess you could call that Circuit City. Yeah,
I'm gonna slam my head into my desk by the end of the night.
that's
Definitely
okay. That's totally fine. So they'll go fetch their drones, and you can see Aviation already being able to figure out where they are. Looked like he was going to go for a run out, and wow, 2 run outs from RTC and Nyx, and now a third from Mail as he gets eliminated. Aviation goes for the run out. He'll get hot, but it seems like this was just run outville. Jarvis now eliminating Aviation, and it's all up to Rudy Cat just playing in Bar's stockroom, spinning around, realizing what rests on his shoulders.
He's activating his spin bot. Everything's gonna be fine. He's got this clutch. It's in the bag. That was so fast. It was.
I mean, it was a gamble, and not able to do much with it.
The drones are just gonna harass Rudy Cat now. He's gonna start moving his way towards White Hallway. Thermite is gonna get challenged, and Adam is gonna get the kill onto Rudy Cat, taking round 4 in favor of Homeless. I'm not even sure he was ready for that. Oh, yeah, maybe he was. They must have had another drone on him. They had so many drones on him right there. There was no way he was gonna make it out of that alive. But Hydra going for the high risk, no reward play in the end there.
I mean, it was brazen. It did not work in any way, shape, or form, but was still entertaining to watch nonetheless. So
it didn't pay off for them, but it paid off for us.
Absolutely, and there's a certain aspect where sometimes what's good for the viewer is not always the greatest. For the actual teams themselves.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs.
So we are now 3-1, and Homeless has only lost 2 rounds so far. They've only lost 3. What was it? They've only lost 3 maps this entire time, and they at the moment do not look like they're in any jeopardy of adding to that tally at all.
Part of me was hoping that we were going to see Homeless get to the match point, and then be defending for their match point, because I feel like at that point they would be ready to do that kitchen and bakery hold, just because they know they have that buffer there, and if they decide to, then the next round they could just go extremely sweaty tryhard and take the round for themselves. But nonetheless, we are going to see them defending in Bar and Cocktail. We saw them win this site already once. It looks like Houghton is going to go ahead and put that bandit battery onto the wall there, kind of denying a little bit. The runouts coming out pretty early from Ella. Jarvis running out onto that balcony there, getting a lot of damage on Aviation, putting him to half health. That's the Ying now, pretty low. Now Ella is going to be sitting inside of Reading. Nyx pushing his way up. He's just going to walk right past that wall. It looks like he's going to go to the hallway. He's going to challenge it, but he's not going to get the kill. He challenges it again. He gets the kill onto Jarvis. Mint there, trade it right back, putting it to a 4v4 with Aviation at half health. RTC has made his way into the building. Aviation and Rudy Cat still sitting outside by the looks of things. Mail droning it out for his team. as the action, just non-stop early round action in your CCS Season 2 Grand Finals.
2 minutes left. You've lost the Ash and the Ella, as you mentioned, and that was a good play, playing for a trade there. And yeah, you did lose one, but you're no worse off than you were, before. Aviation pressuring on the window. Pojo has his back to the Ying, but is in a position where can't really be spotted. Oh, hello, as Mint lobs a beautiful C4 out the window, and we got some excellent camera work as we had a front row view for a C4 sailing through the sky right to Rudy Cat's noggin, and that was a beautiful kill from the Pulse playing on white stairs.
You saw Rudy Cat kind of panicked near the end there, tried to shoot it out of the air, but it just did not work out. It was a beautiful Kobe from Mint. As RTC is now in the laundry room trying to shoot up towards someone that was inside of Cocktail. I believe it might have been Pojo, but it might have been someone else. Aviation still sitting out on this window. I think he's a little worried that Pojo is going to jump out of there once again. The Yings, Candelas are going to come into Cocktail. I think Pojo got blinded for half a second there, but he's going to be ready for that push. He's not by the window. He's not going to go for the run out just yet. But it looks like Pulse is in position to support him if they do decide to try to swing in here. Pojo is going to get the kill onto RTC. Mint taking out Aviation by jumping out of that window, and then is going to take out Mail over by Piano.
Just a blitz, as there was no chance there. Houghton had the reverse angle onto the glass. He was trying to shoot through Jewelry. And oh my, playing out very similar to Coastline 4-1. Could it be that even though it's a best of 5, this series could be faster than the best of 3 we just saw in this for third place overall?
I mean, it's Homeless. They play fast, they play hard, and they win by doing these kinds of things. You saw that Hydra tried to retaliate with some of their own aggression with the, was it 3 or 4 man run out? It was 4-man run out. That just didn't pay off in the slightest. And so they say fight fire with fire, but I don't think you can really fight aggression with aggression. It's not when you're going against Homeless, at least. But we are going to see Mint on the blitz this time. So you just mentioned that it was a blitz at the end of the last round, and now we've got a blitz going into this round.
Yeah. I mean, fighting fire with fire is something that you absolutely can do. I just don't know if there's enough. But I think it needs to be a very close matchup between the two of them. I mean, let's harken back to Elevate in year 2, season 2. They got matched up to, if I remember correctly, BRK, and they ended up beating them because they played the same style of go for the throat style of play that BRK does. So I think it can work. I just think the biggest thing that holds it back is the fact that Homeless just doesn't lose, man. They don't. We've seen it so far in CCS all season. And now Mint bringing out that blitz. He had more frags on blitz than any other operator when we saw them on Wednesday. And they'll pick up their drones at the local Circuit City, which is the last time I promise I will ever say that. And they get to the top of the cap.
Now, one thing about Mint playing blitz, if I'm remembering correctly, we used to see Mint play Montaigne a lot in Pro League matches. Typically on like Clubhouse, you would see him bring the Monty, and there was that classic tactic that I saw a lot when I was getting into this game. I was pretty new to the game when I saw this tactic being used, where they would just open that wall, that first wall on Clubhouse Armory, and then Mint or the Montaigne would just push right in. And it looks like here's the aggression coming out from Homeless again, but the smoke canister there could deny a bit of the aggression. Mail taking out Mint, Aviation getting a C4 on a hot and cold. Adam dropping down, taking out Aviation, putting it to a 3v4. RTC now taking out Jarvis. Nick sitting in piano. Adam coming up red stairs. It's Adam and Pojo that are left standing as one of the defenders is laying down inside of Cigar. Mail is going to take out Adam after Adam takes out Nick's. A good trade there, putting it to a 3v1. This round could and should go in favor of Hydra. What is with these fast-paced rounds?
And Pojo will very stealthily crouch walk his way around just downstairs, and tough for a Glaz as an operator just based on design to 1v3, and you're in a position like this where all you got to do is just simply put yourself in a position to trade. That's it. All they have to do is not push them 1v1. And they're not currently set up in a position to trade at all. In fact, most of these angles, there's no way that any of the other operators can jump in. If Pojo pushes male, Rudy has no way of getting sights on the bandit. If he pushes either of them, there's the Echo there playing just outside a cocktail. Pojo with his pistol out knows that it will be a shorter distance to engage with, and he's just waiting. Now you have Rudy Cat and RTC set up now where they could potentially trade. They'll hit the barbed wire, sees the bandit push out. They will all be alerted, and here you go. Just waiting, pre-firing through the door. All it takes is RTC to hop on up, and they'll win this round. So it's not over yet. Hydra manages to steal one away on a very solid defensive effort as Homeless just sprinted right into their death.
I mean, that was... They were incredibly aggressive there, and that was another one of those rounds where the aggression just did not pay off. A very well-placed C4 taking out one of them, that smoke canister flushing them out of position after they dropped right next to the bomb, or as you call them, toxic babes. Many people call them that. I just... it's one of those things you kind of get stuck in your head. You say the same thing over and over again. But Rudy Cat down there with no kills, and he's been playing Blackbeard most of the game. So it's a little unfortunate. Typically, you want to see someone playing Blackbeard dropping at least 1 or 2 kills around. You do have quite an advantage by having that ballistic shield on your gun. But across the board, the rest of the board for Hydra, pretty balanced out. You've got 4 kills across the board for Male, Nyx, and RTC, and then Aviation with 3 kills. So, I mean, it's not like they're a bad team. It's not like one of them is trying to carry. It's just that they're up against Homeless. And they're up against the challenge of their lifetime. Well, not their lifetime, but the challenge of the season, I would say.
I think this was absolutely their hardest matchup that they've had so far, especially when you factor in expectations and the way that Homeless has been playing. So, I mean, hey, still on match point. No matter what, we will play at minimum Border next up, which is definitely a map that Homeless excels at, and that will be a tough task just to begin with. Defense right now for the team formerly known as Flipside, and already Rudy Cat obliterates Adam. Goodbye to the Mira, but Houghton trades that one off and ties up the loose end. Blackbeard down 4v4. Only took 30 seconds to see some action.
I mean, these rounds, what we saw before with the Ronin versus No Man's match was we saw a lot of rounds where they would just take their time. They would figure out where they needed to go, where they could go, where they couldn't go. They would just take their time and get ready for it. But these matches are just going so quickly. It's so intense. The gunfights are happening within the first 30 seconds of the round. It's just incredible. Nyx is going to drop in at the top of Red Stairs as Male is sitting on Bakery, or he's repelled above Bakery Roof, I should say, looking into Piano from that window, trying to look towards the cheeky spot over at the end of White Hall. A smoke canister, a toxic babe, is going to come out and try to deny a little bit of entry, I think, but I'm not sure where specifically it was aimed for. Nyx is just kind of working his way around inside of Cigar Shop, trying to get a nice angle towards anyone that he can. Pojo is down below right now, actually. I think he was looking towards bar entrance. Or no, he's looking towards Cigar Lounge entrance? I'm not sure. I did lose my orientation there a little bit. There is a Mira and a Blackbeard that have both been taken out now. The first 30 seconds of the round we saw action, and then for the last minute and a half we have not seen any action.
They're just setting themselves up upstairs, I think. And just waiting as there's an oncoming storm, and whether or not Homeless will be prepared for it, we will soon find out. Aviation eliminates Pojo. That was the smoke playing down inside of sight, and he is off the board as he was being hunted mercilessly. The question for me, Mint on the roam downstairs just outside of Bakery by the bottom of White Stairs. Will he be able to get up in time? Because you have to time this flank so properly. He can get up the bottom of White Stairs at any, I guess at any opportunity. And those White Stairs are going to take him up, not quite where he needs to be by the actual site itself. Will take him up by reading, as you can hear Jarvis playing site as Ella. Not too strange. Aviation drops, manages to get through without the Ella doing much, and will now open up the wall as the Jaeger crouch walks to the side. RTC and Aviation join in on the fun, and it's all up to Mint in a 1v4, the clutch of his life. He will contend with one, manage to take him out and use that C4 to finish it off. Aviation goes down, but the diffuser planted means that all 75 health or so of Mint will now need to get back to site. Tries to go for the Twitch through the wall. RTC manages to get by unscathed, but with a nice bullet pen kill, eliminates Mint at the landing of red stairs. And this is 2 rounds now from Hydra, where they have shown good opportunity. And do you think that maybe Homeless tossed it away by going so aggro 2 rounds ago, losing momentum?
The thing that we've seen about Homeless is that throughout the season, there hasn't been really somewhere where they've lost momentum, and just from that point on, they just could not get anything back. They're really good at staying level-headed throughout the duration of a match. Even when things go south, they will pick themselves back up and they'll continue along. I think maybe 1 or 2 times we saw it where something went wrong. It might have tilted them a little bit. It might have affected their gameplay, but it hasn't been really the deciding factor for their matchups.
Right. I agree with you on that one. My apologies. I was just drinking some tea to soothe my throat.
Completely understood. I mean, this is a long matchup. It is a best of 5, or it could be a long matchup, and we have been casting since 8 o'clock Eastern. It's now 11:30. So
it's been a very long week of casting for me. Actually, I've casted every single day, and will continue on as I cast tomorrow as well. So
yeah,
it's
you're
going
casting
to
for Northern Arena, no?
That is correct. Casted Powerhouse on Monday, Tuesday, this on Wednesday. I guess I technically didn't cast yesterday, so I didn't cast on Thursday, and then I'm casting this today, and then I will be casting Northern Arena tomorrow as well. So hey, that's that right there is a long day of or a long week of casting. But now the assault on what could be our final round. It could be the sign of things to come. If we go to overtime, you're going to have to give credit to Hydra, but I'd imagine that Homeless is going to try to tighten it up before we get to that point. You can already see Red Hatch will get hit, EMP will go off just by Skylight, and Pojo on top of the roof overlooking Bakery. Just going to watch bottom of red stairs, and now Houghton will drone it out. Just a little graphical glitch there. Whenever there's a Hibana and an Echo in a match together, Hibana's drone always shows up as a yokai, just in case anybody has never noticed that.
I actually haven't noticed that. There are things every day that you will notice in this game that you have not noticed before. Like earlier when someone put a mirror window up looking towards the hallway from the stockroom next to bathroom on Coastline, I saw how far the wall that gets blown away by the mirror window, I saw how far that flew. I never realized how far it flies.
Right. It's interesting, though, and I mean, we get to see this game an awful lot, and it's pretty crazy that, I probably spend more hours now watching this than I do playing it, and I'm still learning new things about the game.
It's incredible that they, look at just the littlest details all over the place, but it's fantastic work that they put into the game. Oh, I'm glad that they did that stuff, though. It really adds to the depth of the game. But, I mean, most rounds, so getting back to the match, I should say, most rounds so far we've seen action within the first 30 seconds. So far there's a little bit of damage on Aviation, but that's really about it. We haven't seen much more. We're getting down to the 1-minute marker, and it looks like Homeless is just kind of taking this one a little bit slow. RGC was upstairs on the Echo. Now they are defending Fireplace and Mining Museum right now, so typically you won't see a 3 armor roaming around upstairs, but then again we saw Pojo on the roaming Mira before, so we could see anything this match.
And take a look at this. They have completely cleared out upstairs now and have complete control over it. 40 seconds though, so they've done it in about a little bit longer than they need to. Pojo from atop has some superiority. He'll take out Aviation with Adam from above. It was Pojo playing on the balcony outside. Just getting their wires crossed as Jarvis and Adam run into one another. And now down goes Rudy Cat, and that's the power of the buck from above. Slap a hollow or a reflex on there, and you don't need to engage that long term. You've still got Pojo lurking outside. Really only way to deal with him is going to be a C4. Houghton runs up, and down goes RTC as Mint adds to Nyx, and it's all on the Mail to try and keep this alive for his team. He'll take out Houghton and just needs to hold on. He'll get pressured from the buck. He takes out Adam. Mail right now, last stand as Diffuser gets planted in A. A 1v3 will need to ace for his team. Can we see him pull it off? If so, he'll go to overtime, but no, Mint secures the win for his team, and now we will see Border, as it will be possibly our final match between these two teams.
And our final match for Season 2.
And a good performance. I do like the role changes they've had. And sorry, you were going to say an intense.
I was just going to say that was an intense map the whole way through.
Absolutely agree. And a good showing. It was closer than it looked. Look at Mint, who has woken up from his slumber previously. And once again, that depth in Hydra. I would actually like to persevere. We said that we might have a break, but I would rather just keep going. If it's okay with the teams, I don't know what the rest of the staff are. I don't know if you want to take a break or if we're just going to keep trudging ahead, but that would be my preference before we go to Border.
I mean, I'm too hyped up to take a break right now. I'm not sure if the teams would like to. I know sometimes it can get pretty intense. You'll go through your water pretty quickly if you have some of that standing by.
I'm
We're gonna
like I
find
said,
out from the
I just like to keep going, truth be told.
Yeah, I'd like to keep going. We're trying to find out from the teams. It looks like Hydra is good to keep going, but we'll find out. But I mean, nonetheless, this has just been an exciting night. This is the final night for Season 2 of CCS. We saw the third place match take place, and there was a lot of action during that match. Some incredible plays from Nomads, and Nomads coming out on top with a 2-1 win against Ronin. And once again, congratulations to Nomads for that. But we are now in our grand finals. We are on the third map. It is a best of 5. So I mean, this could keep going for quite a while. It all depends on if Hydra decides to really show up for this next map.
It's going to be tough. This is one of the best maps from Homeless. They always show up here. They always play well. And they look indomitable. I would hope that for Hydra, they've got some serious counter-stratting going on because there's a lot of footage, thankfully for them, of Homeless playing on Border from the qualifiers from Pro League itself and previously from CCS. I mean, hey, look at how easily Homeless dispatched Ronin in CCS on Wednesday on Border. It was very fast. If I remember correctly, I think it was a 5-1. So just waiting to see on one last switch as there is a bit of a break for the players. And there we go. And we're ready to load into Border whenever we want. What's the big thing to look for you? What if you're Team Hydra's coach right now? How do you beat them on this map?
Well, one of the things that Homeless does on this map is they tend to play customs and storage a lot. That is one of the sites that they will almost always play. They're guaranteed to play that, opposed to playing workshop ventilation. So as long as you study the way that they defend it, because they always defend it the same way. It's a very, very static defense for them. They always play it the same way. They're always ready for what they need to do. Every player knows exactly where they need to be positioned. But at the same time, since they are swapping up the roles, things might change up a little bit. But I know for a fact that those players enjoy playing on that site. So I think for Hydra, I would just say be ready to have to attack that site at any given time for any given round, because they might pick it first, they might pick it second, and it's one of those sites that if you have a solid defense on it, then it's really hard to take you out. But at the same time, if your defense is the same every single time and your attackers are able to study that, then they're going to know what they need to do. So for Hydra, I would say just know what to do to really take those rounds when they're playing on customs and supply, because those are the rounds that would make a difference for a team like Hydra. It's not likely that they're going to be able to get the wins on Armory and Lockers or Armory and Archives, because that's a site that everyone knows how to defend very well. So you would want to take those rounds on customs and supply, and you would want to fight really hard on your defense rounds.
Right. And win your gunfights. Most important part, win your gunfights.
And if
that's
you don't
win
your gunfights, have someone there for the trade.
Right. And that's something that I feel that Hydra really needs to... I know it's very easy for us to say that. Oh, just win your gunfights. As if it's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? But it's something where you need to really focus on it. Work on it as a team. Dry run it. Set yourself up in positions where you are winning those fights or there's somebody there to fight for the draws or fight for trades like Penta does, like Ichi does, like we've seen Homeless doing a lot of times. So I'm imagining this is going to play out a couple ways. You're going to have Pojo at Armory Wall, or you're going to have him up top at Depot. He's already going to put pressure on that Mira. Mail's there to bandit trick if need be, or bandit juggle. You see a C4 getting run out. That's a nice C4 from Aviation, but Pojo expecting it pulls back. You see another rotate. And if I recall correctly, it would have been a 5-0 actually for Flipside if it hadn't been for Mint somehow not managing to kill off Talon just outside of the metal detectors in Armory. But you see Houghton sees the Mira, gets a couple shots off, can't really do much with that. Will now concuss to try and stop the actual bandit tricking itself. And 2 rounds of X-Kairos will go down, and some really good bandit juggling. Wow, what a great job from Mail so far, who has just a shred of health, but looks like he's actually stopped all of the X-Kairos in their tracks. Houghton there, though, to kill RTC, Houghton Daredo, as I forget how to speak English, and that will take down the Mira. But still, they will be able to play on this Mira window for the rest of the round, and that is incredibly crucial for the team.
I mean, Mail is putting in a ton of work as this bandit, just denying that entry as much as possible. But then, ooh, Nyx taking out Adam as Jarvis takes out Mail. The trade's going back and forth. Rudy Cat taking out Mint now is moved his way into Armory Lockers. He's going to be sitting here looking towards the half wall, but there's no one there. It looks like there's 2 remaining attackers, actually. It's a 2v3. Everything has gone down so fast. Aviation is now going to take out Pojo. It's all down to Houghton. He's going to take out Aviation. He's going to come around. He knows that someone's at half wall. He has that little bit of sense. He's going with his gut sense, but Rudy Cat is going to take out Houghton from Archives.
Play of the game there could very easily be said to have been Nyx getting that 2K as he rotated around, but I'm giving it to Mail 100%. While concussed and while flashed, Mail was able to get rid of 3 bursts of X-Kairos that were all hitting separate walls. As a bandit, that is your dream scenario, and he just got to live it. And not only did he keep that Mira up, it kept the defense in position where they didn't have to fall off of that wall. And even though Houghton did finally manage to make his way inside of Armory, it was Mail who repelled that push and held it as bay as long as he did. So he 100% and indisputably is the MVP for me of that round. And without it, I honestly think Homeless would have been able to storm in and clear it out, take possession, and get a quick plant off. And yes, Nyx probably still would have been able to get that 2K, but it would have been completely different for the remaining members of Homeless. So really excellent job there. Now we're going to see Homeless go to defense, which I think they look typically better on this map, or at least have over the last couple times I've seen them. And we'll put that to the test right now.
This is a map that they know. They've played very well. They've played it a lot. So it's going to be pretty hard for Hydra to take this defensive win. But I have to agree with you about that last round, though. Mail shutting down the opening of that Armory wall was massive. Because if they had opened up that wall, then one of the attackers could have just held a wide angle there from the balcony and shut down Nyx as he came around the corner. And also coming into play was what we mentioned before about having someone there for a trade if you're not able to win the gunfight. Mail was so low on health that the chances of him winning that gunfight were slim to none. And Nyx just came in and cleaned it up for him. So, I mean, fantastic work from Mail, fantastic work from Nyx, and just overall great teamwork from Hydra for that last round. We'll see if they're able to continue it into this next round.
And they will lose that Mira very early, but doesn't matter because they're not really needed up there, as it was only 1 Mira. Jarvis takes out Aviation before getting hunted down by Nyx, and he's already gone. Houghton can't even come close to getting up there, as look at this, just the speed of the 3 speed of Ash, able to get in and out. And for a second there, my brain was like, oh no, he's gonna run through a Claymore. And then I realized that, oh, he's an attacker. I don't know if you felt the same, but that was my first thought too. Pojo playing that east stairwell, or the east hallway Mira. Obviously, one of the most crucial parts of this site is taking care of that Mira and flushing out the defender there, because the longer you're there, the harder it gets to actually push on the site from all the intel they can gather and so on.
I do have to correct you real quick. You said it was a 3-speed Ash. It's actually 5-speed.
My apologies. I honestly, I don't know what I was thinking there. It's been a long day. So
yeah, it's okay. Everybody makes mistakes, even the god himself. The attackers are kind of focused on the... Ooh, Houghton running out onto the balcony, getting a double headshot onto Mail and Rudy Cat, cleaning them both up, taking out the Habana. and the Thatcher at the same time. The two people that were going to work on breaching that armory wall. Nyx missing the shots, though, onto Houghton as he's sitting there safe and sound inside of CCTV. Both of the remaining attackers sitting on this south balcony heading towards east stairs. They have to completely change up their attack. They have no way of opening any reinforced walls. The shots coming out from smoke are just not going to connect as RTC is working his way over towards offices, and so is Nyx. They're going to try to get these doorways and this window opened up. Adam from on top of the shelving is going to get the kill on RTC, and then the headshot onto Nyx as well, giving the defenders round 2.
Pretty great round from them. Easy hold. You see Adam played the pre-fire knowing that they were both there. We see Adam also run out a lot onto that overpass just above the bus depot and get a couple kills from that angle too. So Adam is pretty versatile when playing in office and has a couple things at his disposal to try and harass the attackers. They didn't even really need much out of him there. He just held the line and got the kills when need be. So Houghton, though, a big double kill, and that was really set the round off for his team. And you saw they were able to repel that push by a smoke going down 2, and that allowed the defense from Homeless to be able to get into position and capitalize on the fact that Hydra moved their chess pieces, and so too did Homeless. Now, since Hydra was successful upstairs, they'll go downstairs inside a workshop, which is largely seen as the second most easily defendable site, though I think some people would argue that Customs has slowly been moving its way, at least into an argument, to be the second best site.
I would say that the thing about Customs, though, is that you really need more practice on it. You need to make sure that you spend the time practicing it and figuring it out, doing dry runs on it non-stop, making sure that you're able to get your setup done very quickly, very efficiently, and making sure that everyone is in the position that they need to be in before, really, before the action phase begins. If you give the attackers really any time to move towards getting inside without one of your roamers in proper position, it could cost you dearly throughout the rest of that round.
I completely agree with that as well. So now, though, round number 3, we could only be 4 rounds away from finishing this one off, and what has been an exciting matchup between the two, though, has been quite obviously in favor of Homeless. Adam runs in, he bucks open a wall and gets under fire from 2 separate angles. 3 make that as Mail from above finishes him off, and Houghton follows the trend, heads in himself, and he'll take some damage. Jarvis, though, eliminating Aviation. That's the Pulse who was down. Playing inside as Nyx now comes in, takes out Houghton, manages to get out of the way, and a double kill from Nyx as he takes out Jarvis now as well. And at the moment, ooh boy, this attack from Homeless being defanged right in front of our eyes. Pojo with very little health. You can see Nyx going for a 3rd kill. He'll try to take out the Capitao. Ella, by the way, still using up that 41 bullet magazine before Pojo can take him down. But Pojo will now need to take out the 3 remaining members. A daunting task. He does not have that diffuser. Not entirely certain what he's trying to do. Likely rotate around to push CCTV. Try to get maximum advantage from your Blackbeard there, using those face or rifle shields, rather, if he has any left, of course.
I'm not sure that he has any left, but he did just try firing at Mail. That's going to give away his position, which is dire in a situation like this. You do not want them knowing exactly where you are and exactly where you're pushing from. Mail is just going to sit tight up behind that CCTV desk as Pojo is going to start pushing his way in. Mail's going to pop up, and he's going to take him down. Hydra taking round 3, putting them to a 2-1.
Look at that. And so both these teams looking much better on defense. And if that continues to hold, then likely will be strongly in favor of, I would say, Hydra, as they will have more opportunities to defend. And then, of course, if it goes to overtime, it's really just going to come down to who benefits most from the coin flip.
And here we are going to see Homeless with their customs and supply hold. As I kind of predicted, it's a site that they know very well. They practice this a lot, so that's why they do it. It tends to work out well for them, but we'll see if Hydra was able to prepare anything to take down this hold. I'm sure that they know that this is the hold that they were going to go for, but we'll just see if they're able to dismantle their defense like they just dismantled their attack. Though it looks a little bit different than, Or no, do they normally reinforce that hatch there? I'm pretty sure they normally reinforce that hatch. I could be
They'll
wrong.
reinforce one hatch and then they'll provide the drop down, which is where Houghton is right now. And this is what I said. We saw Homeless go to this site before against Ronin. They did quite well on it. I mean, already performing better on defense. All three defensive teams have looked really good, or all three defensive rounds rather have looked really good for all these teams. And like you said, requires a bit of coordination in order to be able to attack it. And we'll see if Hydra can really do it, as Homeless is going to really test their mettle. Still, bears repeating for people who don't see this site all that often. A big component of taking this site, oh no.
F.
No, why
Just F's in
would you do that? F's in chat. And Mail goes for the shot, and I don't know what Nyx was thinking. That is squarely on the shoulders of Nyx for that error at the moment. As you could see, Mail was lined up to start firing, and Nyx just sprinted right through it. You take down your Ashe, and oh my. So
Not just taking down your Ashe, taking down your Nyx. We've seen him performing incredibly so far tonight. That mirror window has already been opened, though, so that could give them a little bit more of an advantage here as they're working their way on this east balcony.
they're just going to wait, and you've already given them an advantage by taking out their Ashe and competent player. I mean, those breaching rounds could go a long way, especially with a castle on the board. You got Jarvis with 3 castle barricades, and now the only way to take them out are the ex-Kairos of Hibana or the 2 frags of Buck. You don't have those breaching rounds, which you could have used on barbed wire or the castles themselves. Trying to establish dominance on the top of East Stairs. Aviation was waiting for one to push, but they will completely fall off CCTV. So all of Homeless will concede that point, as now the pressure coming from inside of Archives. It does actually appear that there is still one playing in CCTV. You can see Rudy Cat trying to work away at what appears to be Pojo up top. And creeping down that hallway is Aviation, who could be about to confront one member of the defense. Mail sweeping inside of Tellers, looking towards anybody as Houghton and Mint get first 2 kills on the Aviation RTC, and it was Houghton who was still playing up top in CCTV. He eliminated the Buck of Aviation. Mail gets the first kill for Hydra as down goes Mint. Rudy Cat sustains some injuries, gets out of the way as it's really all up to Mail now, who's inside of sight. He sees the castle at Jarvis and try to take him down. He'll peek around the server stack, and Mail, with just a shred of health, will lose that battle, and that's Diffuser down, leaving it all up to Rudy Cat.
And Rudy Cat not in the best position over by main lobby. He has to contend with the castle to get that diffuser back. And Jarvis, holding the angle, is going to get the shot on Rudy Cat to close up the round, as Homeless takes round 4, putting it to 2v2 now. So it's just back and forth defense wins that we're seeing so far on this map.
What a good showing. So yeah, back-to-back defensive wins. Houghton and Jarvis leading the way for their teams right now. Nyx, you took those 6 frags off the board right away. That is an oof, to say the least. Though with how well that round played out in favor of Homeless, I don't know how much of a difference Nyx would have made, but you can never, ever know for certain. So.
I think with Nyx entry fragging upstairs, they would have had a bit more of an advantage while they were trying to take Armory over there, because they had the castle barricade that blocked them off at first, and then that finally got taken out. I think that was taken out by a defender's impact grenade. I could be wrong about that. And then they didn't really continue to contend that very well. They didn't put much pressure on it. They started losing people that were over there, and it just kind of fell off from there. But I think if they had Nyx to maybe come through the hallway, or even just take down that castle barricade and just put a lot more pressure on them inside of Armory there, things would have gone completely differently.
So, who is going to crack defense first? If it's Homeless, you give yourself an advantage. RTC going for the rotate gives his position away. I mean, that's not going to really mean anything. I like that they're working a Zofia in for Houghton. You typically will see him on a fragger roll. You've taken him off of the Ashe and put him on a Zofia. They did say that they were trying to diversify their roles and swap roles out so that both they could get new, I guess they could work new strats or old strats in with new operators. They did say that they weren't running new strats. I mean, of course you're going to say that. We don't know for certain how much of this is actual strats that they're running or not. Also, remember Chap went for the run out through East Stairs and almost took down the entire team. I'm wondering if if Hydra watched that VOD with great eagerness and is going to attempt it at some point itself, but there's no ACOGs, at least to the best of my knowledge, that have been run on defense from Hydra so far.
No, I believe you are correct about that. Paul's sitting down below with Nyx kind of sitting there, kind of supporting him. It looks like the C4 might be about to come out. As he's going to run out, he's going to chuck that C4 up there. Same C4 he threw up before. Very nice positioning from it, but it's just not going to get them because they are going to fall back as they did before. But we do have Mailman trying to get that bandit tricking on that wall once again. He did it successfully before. We'll see if he's able to do it again as a Thatcher EMP is going to come out. He's going to take out some of his shock wires. He's going to get hit by a grenade. Adam is going to take out Mail with a grenade perfectly placed to shut him down. Armory wall is now going to be opened by the attackers. Pojo now taking out Nyx. 2 defenders have fallen. It is a 3v5 right now, completely in favor of Homeless. I believe there's a defender still sitting behind that half wall there as Houghton is going to run in. He's going to go prone right over here. That smoke canister is not really going to do much of anything. Jarvis taking out Rudy Cat. RTC with a C4 taking out Houghton as the attack is still putting a lot of pressure onto this armory wall. RTC still sitting behind the half wall. He's going to get hit by a grenade from Adam. Once again, Pojo is going to take out Aviation as he tries to push forward and get a pick, and it is just going to fall apart for Hydra on that round. The defense has been broken.
And one big difference maker there was no bandit to trick that wall, and it fell apart. And you saw the moment they got that mirror open, you now have a Blackbeard with that rifle shield peering right in, not just, I guess, trying to bait you into a confrontation, but what that Blackbeard's going to do is he's going to deny any real push-up, because you're not just going to have to challenge that rifle, which is powerful in its own regard, but also try to chew through that 60 hit points of that shield, which usually in that amount of time, enough shots will be landed from the Blackbeard to get away relatively unscathed, if not, completely unharmed. So that was exactly what I'm assuming Homeless was trying to accomplish a couple rounds ago, but Mail denied them that opportunity. And this time, I mean, hey, it worked, and you saw the havoc they were able to wreak on the defenders. So, as you said, the defense has been broken and the attack in favor of Homeless, who will now go to defense. And unless we see the attackers win yet again, it will be match point in favor of Homeless. This is their map. They have performed about as well as we could have hoped, though I do think that this has the best contest that Hydra has provided overall. Most rounds have been relatively close, despite the winners as well.
Overall, for this matchup so far, this has definitely been my favorite map to watch. Did we see this setup, the setup in CCTV with the mirror window looking towards Fountain before? The last time that Homeless was defending this site? I can't recall perfectly where they had their mirrors set up. I know they run this.
They had a mirror, I believe, on the wall of Armory, exactly the same way they do. Yeah, this is the same setup they had.
Yeah, but I mean the one in security, that one right there, looking towards Fountain.
The one in security on East Stairs, yeah, that one is pretty typical for the defense that I've seen from Homeless so far.
Okay. But looks like Jarvis with the Pulse could come over and try to take out Aviation, possibly. I'm not sure if Pulse did get droned out. He is sitting inside of Supply, so he's not in the perfect position to go for that. But Aviation is pretty confident that he's safe to run around down here inside of Server Room, Workshop. He is going to get droned out, and now the pressure is going to come. Buck has just opened up a wall next to him. Rudy Cat and Mail both getting a lot of pressure, and there it is. Aviation taking out Jarvis. Nice headshot right through that window, but Mint trading it back, taking out Aviation from above, using the holes that Aviation made against him, putting it to a 4v4. The 1-for-1 trades going around. We've seen this before. We'll see it again. It looks like they're going for an offices-focused push this time, as Rudy Cat is starting to break open that window. He's going to throw an EMP grenade in there. Ooh, some damage going off onto Mail there. Hydra's got to be really careful with this friendly fire.
Adam gets eliminated from Rudy, playing fast and loose up top, and now Hydra will push in, and Hydra looking good on attack right now. Adam was a pretty big difference maker, especially holding Office. That will prompt one member of Homeless to now have to move up to try to cover Office, and that's Mint right now, playing just behind the bomb. as Houghton inside of Armory, and then of course you're going to have Pojo sticking to that mirror window like glue. Though it doesn't really appear that Armory is going to be that valuable. It will be an office push, at least from all of the operators lined up at the moment. And Mint trying to be flashed out inside of Archives will manage to get away. He's positioned right by the wall. Will get his bandit charge down and stop the Hibana before anything really can happen to those walls. With the open doorway just on the balcony, Houghton will lay into that, and you can see Twitch army crawling on her belly just over by the wall where Houghton Cold is separating. He takes out Mail, and now the Twitch of RTC pops up. He finishes off Houghton before Mint can trade him off, and 2v2 as Nyx now storms inside, and it's all up to Pojo on Homeless. He'll throw out one Toxic Babe as the Ash looks to fight through it. Nyx breathes in some fumes, but Pojo is completely boxed out by the reinforced walls. Diffuser goes down just in the lick of time. And now it's going to be very difficult. High rate of fire and high damage on that SMG-11, but we'll have to contend with an ACOG. Tosses one Toxic Babe over top of the wall. I'm waiting to see where the Ash is, who has very smartly moved. Pojo looking to try and find the location of Nyx. He's playing by bomb, gets inside. Diffuser in a position where it can be covered from both, and Nyx beheads Pojo just inside of the site, not even giving him a chance to hit that Diffuser. And Hydra now gets their first attacking round, and this map might just go to overtime. It's 3-3.
Wow. Summed up. That round summed up for me is wow.
That was a flurry, and it was a very, very good hold from Hydra. They took the site, and then they defended it well.
I mean, they so we saw defense winning back-to-back. And now we're seeing the attacks winning back-to-back. I'm not sure if we will continue to see the attacks winning. It's possible, but we do see Hydra actually picking Ventilation and Workshop this time, so they might be a bit more comfortable there after losing up above. But Nyx just coming in to clean up those last kills, and then was it Rudy Cat on the Twitch, or was it RTC on the Twitch? It was one of them that pushed in, somehow made it past the person that was playing inside of Archives to take out that Ella. I'm not sure entirely what happened there, but that little belly slide, getting themselves into that nice position so they could just run right into there. It was very risky plays that Hydra was making pretty early on that just paid off very well, especially when they were able to lock Pojo out of sight. If they had opened up the reinforced walls against Office there, then I think that would have gone a little bit differently. They were... I mean, if Pojo had been able to rotate through there, then definitely it would have been a bit easier for Pojo to retake that site. But he wasn't able to go for the retake because he only had one solid point of entrance. And by the time he got towards that point of entrance, it was just completely locked down by the attackers. But as we move into the next round, Jarvis with a nice early pick onto Nyx. That's a big kill on the board for Homeless, as Nyx has been doing a lot of work for Hydra so far. And they're just going to have to carry that momentum forward as they go through this round. And Hydra is defending downstairs. Nyx did die on the second floor. It looked like he was trying to cover east stairs. He's going to take it out that early, losing that Ella, losing that heavy fragger is going to be pretty costly. Hydra is going to have to pull off something crazy here if they're going to want to try to take this, try to balance this round back out, I should say.
Aviation playing up top of server room, and I heard there were some mic crackles, so I had to just depart for a second there. That would explain my random silence. Hopefully it's all fixed this time around. If not, we'll have to figure out what's going on with my microphone. Now, losing Nyx early on, second time in a row that we've seen Nyx get taken out right at the start of the round. Unfortunate, lots of opportunity for them to attack this strat. Castle is only going to slow them down, but when you bring a Zofia, that's one thing that she brings to the table in addition to an Ashe, is that you can engage with those castle barricades from long range. As we hit the halfway mark, the only one who's gone down is Nyx from Hydra.
Yeah, and as we saw before, we haven't seen this map so far. It has not been a lot of action early on like we saw on Cafe. So it's kind of typical so far from what we've seen for them to really take their time getting onto site. There have been some pretty aggressive plays, like Houghton right now is going to be pushing inside. RTC is actually outside. He's going to get taken down by Jarvis as Houghton has pushed into Workshop. He's watching for Aviation to try to come back through that rotate hole. I'm not sure if he's going to. Aviation is actually going to cross towards the window as Rudy Cat takes out Houghton. Jarvis now outside of this window here. He does not know that Aviation is to the right there. Smoke's going to get some shots as Adam is going to take out Aviation. Mail taking out Adam now. Trades going back and forth. It is down to a 2v3 in favor of the attackers. Jarvis fairly low on health. Pojo Man still at full health on that Blackbeard. And Mint still at full health on that Thatcher. Rudy Cat himself has taken some damage too as Mail takes out Mint, but it's pretty costly. He lost a lot of health there. He has to play it extremely safe. He has 2 attackers that are now outside of Armory. He has to try to get back to site. He's going to get the kill onto Jarvis. He's going to drop back onto site. It's down to Pojo now, who's going to push in. He doesn't see. There it is. He sees Mail's feet. He shoots him in the feet. He drops through the hatch, and Rudy Cat takes him down to take the round.
And match point right now for Hydra on Homeless's map. So the only way that Homeless can win is through overtime. Hydra has an opportunity to close this out, and they will have to win on attack again. Now, they did well last time around. Taking out Adam early on was a pretty big factor as to how they played as well as they did. They're going to need to do that too, being able to dislodge the play inside of Office so that Mint doesn't have to do all that work solo. We'll head to what could be our final round before we, before I guess Oregon could await us. But we'll see. Right now, Hydra's best performance thus far, and this is the Hydra that I think a lot of people were hoping would show up and take the fight to Homeless, and they are doing so quite commendably. I like as well that Homeless is not trying to switch up their roles. Now, I know that they said they were trying out new roles. It's very easy for a team when they're losing to say, all right, well, let's go back to what we know works. They're just going to stick with it, and I think that's a real good strategy for them because it allows you to continually test it, and as I believe I said a couple rounds ago, test its metal. So.
5 seconds left before.
And it's very important that Hydra does their best, their absolute best this round. If they're able to pull off an attack similar to what they did on their last attacking round, then we could definitely see this go to a 4th map, and you know, Hydra gets a little bit closer to their word on making Homeless lose 3 more maps this season, which is impressive nonetheless. I mean, just getting this far, getting as far as they have is incredibly impressive for these players. It speaks numbers for how much or how dedicated they are and how much they're willing to improve themselves. And it's huge, and I'm definitely expecting to see more of them in CCS next season, and without a doubt throughout the competitive scene in Siege. But as the round does start to get underway, Houghton is going to be sitting inside of security, trying to watch through this hatch as some drones are coming down. Pulse sitting inside of Armory, an anchor Pulse, or believe. They could use that to take out Aviation, who is going to be on the Buck, who's going in through server right now. Trying to open up a little bit up above. He does notice the mirror ahead, but he doesn't get the shots. He's going to get taken down. He's downed, but not out now, and he's out. Adam finishing off Aviation from above. That was so close, Aviation. You saw his head. You just needed to land the shots, but now Nyx is going to go back to that same position that Aviation was just in. He's going to try to get the kill for himself.
You saw that when he got down, he shook his head. RTC eliminating Adam with the Twitch drone. That's the 2nd Twitch drone kill we've seen so far today. The other going to none other than Chapstick, a former member of Homeless. And Adam being downed is crucial as well. And that would assume with Adam's help, that was at least 3 zaps of the Twitch drone. As Nyx comes up, that is not just that is a sibling rivalry. No, that is a family rivalry. As Houghton storms up the main stairs and eliminates his cousin in Nyx. Keeping it in the family, I see Rudy Cat, RTC, and Mail are the last 3 left for the attackers. Lots of utility still left with a Thatcher as well as a Twitch. Great firepower from both Twitch as well as Hibana. And then, of course, the hard destructibility with a Hibana too. So a lot of options available for them. They've got a minute left, and all they managed to do is take the mirror out of playing an Office. And Houghton finishes off RTC. It's just your Hibana and your Thatcher left.
With Hibana climbing up that vein. Ooh, there it is. There! Houghton is going to take out Mail, who climbed up on top of the bus, and now Houghton is peeking out towards the balcony. He doesn't get the shots onto Rudy Cat just yet. Rudy still sitting outside on this AC balcony here, looking towards that window. He has to grab the diffuser, so he has to risk it for the biscuit. I think Houghton heard it. He's going to head back towards the window, and he's going to turn away just in the last second. Rudy Cat now trying to put some pressure on site. There is a defender with a shotgun right there. Oh, no, not a shotgun. I thought it was a shotgun. It looked like it for a second. But Houghton is going to take out Rudy and put us into overtime.
A 4K from Houghton as well. Let's not let that overshadow that a 4K in the to get his team their 4th win and put us into OT. And they showed up when you needed him the most. Houghton comes in real clutch. Now, if the defense performing better is the trend line that we see continue on, then it definitely favors Hydra, who are currently going to defend twice. They'll start on defense, and with how good the defense has been looking, you got to think that they're pretty confident heading into this. But you never count out Homeless.
Protect your bombs from being defused by attackers.
And now they have a chance to potentially win their 2nd attack round in a row, or rather 2nd attack row, period. It's not going to be easy. And I think the big focus, once again, and for the 3rd round, I'm going to say, is going to be Mail and how he plays on that wall. You have him there to bandit juggle, you're going to do all right. You have him off the bandit juggle, you're not going to be so all right. So if you can have him defend that mirror and not have Pojo take that entire side of the site away, then Hydra's going to be in good position. They concede that side. It becomes a lot less tenable for them to hold on.
I think a big thing about that, though, is you saw last time they put a lot of focus. Homeless put a lot of focus on taking out the bandit, not just disabling him from placing his batteries on the wall, but they also put a lot of focus on just completely eradicating him off the board. And that grenade that came in and finished him off was pretty massive. So if they go with that same focus again, then it's going to be pretty hard for Mail to really keep that wall safe and sound. But if Hydra, thinks this out properly, then they could put a little bit more coverage for Mail and have people trying to keep the attackers from flushing him out with grenades and things like that. It looks like Aviation is going to be sitting by half wall trying to provide a little bit of support, stop someone from running in to shoot him, but that's not really going to stop a grenade. And they didn't bring a Jaeger this time, which was something I was kind of expecting them to do.
He's just waiting right now. I'm surprised that they're not putting any pressure on him from below. A conga line forming. You can see the pulses there trying to line up that C4 as well. This is something that has not worked 2 times previously, and a bandit wire will go down. He'll manage to pick that one up as some explosives go in, and RTC makes it work! Pojo and Adam go down, and finally, that pulse C4 pays off big time. Oh my, and that is going to thwart the attackers, at least for now. You've lost 2 pretty important pieces of that team.
They've been doing that all game, every single round, and this time Homeless let it slip, and it's costing them big time. It slowed down their attack. They're not really focusing on that wall anymore. They still have the Thatcher. I think he has some EMPs left, so he still has the potential to really try to get rid of some of these bandit batteries. But to let something that's been going on the entire game, it hasn't worked so far. They've been able to back off of it, but I think this time they just waited that much longer. Every single time so far, we've seen the pulse run out pretty early on, and it just didn't work out because of that. It was just the Blackbeard that was there, and Blackbeard was able to simply just back up. But this time, that patience just paid off beautifully for him, and now they're going to start opening up this wall, and now Homeless is going to start opening up this wall in a fountain, trying to contest as many of the defenders as possible as Houghton starts to work his way out towards that east balcony. Mint is going to be on the main hallway. RTC is actually going to take out Houghton now, putting it to a 2v5. Things are not looking great for Homeless right now. Hydra is showing that they want this, and if they can get it, they're going to take it. The smoke shotgun is not going to take out Mint, and the pulse dropping over. He's going to take out Mint. Finally, it's put to a 1v4. Jarvis over by main stairs. He's going to go back down for some reason. Now he's heading his way back up, pushing on towards site, and RTC is there with a pistol to finish it up as Hydra takes overtime round 1.
Are we just going to discredit RTC's ace there as well?
Wait, that was an ace? I was not. Yes, the 2 kills on the C4.
That was indeed an ace.
God.
So RTC, just an incredible round for him. Can you believe it? Indeed.
Wow.
An ace. So great job from
Grand
RTC.
Finals, nonetheless.
Absolutely, to put his team up by 1 right now. So a round of applause for everybody to say that he grabbed the ace there. So Key component now as we head to Armory Lockers for Homeless on defense.
Attackers need to
Make
locate
sure
and defuse
that
bombs.
Adam doesn't die early and that he can at least win one fight from inside of office. I gotta say, Homeless has been running the exact same strategy or very minor variations of it so far. It hasn't worked. You would figure at some point that they would change something up, but no, you see the same walls largely being reinforced. You see the same holes in the floor being created by Pojo. You're likely going to have Adam playing and be exactly the same. And it's just going to keep going ad nauseum. At some point, when do you say to yourselves, hey, maybe this isn't working. Maybe we should try something else because we're facing, you're facing elimination right now from this matchup. And Oregon looking very certain for the time being.
I think if Hydra continues their momentum into this next round, if they just work hard enough, and as long as we don't see Mail get another team kill onto Nyx, there's a very solid potential that we'll be going to Oregon for our next match, our next map. It looks like a lot of pressure is going to be focused. They're going for more of an offices take this time, which is pretty much what this defense is meant to fight against. It looks like Jarvis jumping onto the cams, Houghton jumping onto the cams, as well as Adam is just sitting tight on site. I think that Houghton was going to go for that run out. Oh, he's going to go for the long run. He's running all the way down the south balcony. He's going to get the shots off, but no kills. He's going to toss that Grismod to try to cover his back while he runs back towards break room, and that was a very risky move. It's not good that Hydra was not able to punish that. They should have had something or someone in position to punish that. Now Nyx is going to be sitting on the south balcony for a little bit, trying to watch for a repeat move, but that was incredibly risky from Houghton, and that could have gone incredibly south for Hydra.
Ballsy moves sometimes beget ballsy results. Not in this case. He's going to go for it yet again this time, and Ella, by the way, cannot land all those shots. He will soften up Mail, and RTC gets down, or he'll down RTC, my apologize. And now you've got Rudy Cat up on top of Vehicle Customs.
Ooh, Adam!
And Adam takes out Rudy and Mail. Oh my, that deserved a yell.
Yes, it did.
And that C4 from the previous round will get answered this time.
And the C4 doing a lot of work so far for these last two rounds. That was massive, taking out the Blackbeard and the Habana, and I don't think Habana was able to open up any reinforced walls either, so that means that her utility was put to waste as Pojo takes out Nyx and Adam in one burst. We'll just go with it. We'll say it was planned.
I feel like that's the universe getting redemption on Adam for all of the team killing that he does. And if anybody watches any of the digests, they would know just how many times Adam can team kill. Very gently, a frag grenade will get lobbed into office to destroy the barbed wire, which will allow RTC to push in relatively unabated. A pulse of Jarvis playing on the other wall. And this is the big deal, is that C4 goes off, it'll claim RTC, and it's all up to Aviation left to try to clutch it. He'll get under fire from two separate angles. Both the Pulse and the Bandit will join in on the fight. Pojo, the only one right now not in on the fray. Mint and Jarvis looking to try to get him into some form of crossfire as Pojo crouches his way up, and Mint takes the shots and gets Aviation as he turns around. And we are now on the overtime of overtime.
Everything is just going back and forth. It's overtime match point now. This is anybody's game. Favor typically is going to fall towards Hydra for this because they are going to be defending. So, I mean, if RTC pulls off another ace like that, then yes, we're going to see incredible things. But they are going to be defending downstairs. They already won upstairs, so it's not necessary that he's going to have to pull off that C4 or that ace in general. But Hydra has the chance right now to push this to the next map, to push Homeless to lose another map for this season. Do you think they're going to win this?
So the defense has looked really, really good so far. But we are now going to go to a site that doesn't always favor the defense. It's going to be tougher for Hydra. I think it's going to be tougher than it was before. but I still think they can potentially pull it out, in which case, yeah, we'd have Oregon, which I would be really excited for. But I think Homeless is going to try harder on this round than they have, period, all season long.
I mean, Hydra has shown that they've got their hands laid out on the table. They are ready for it. They are ready to stick around. They're ready to fight for it. At the same time, Homeless has shown that they are here to fight for it as well. We know that they're in it to win it. They just need to show the best that they can. And if Homeless takes this round, then that means that that means that Hydra is going to have lost the grand finals, unfortunately, but they put up one hell of a fight nonetheless. But I'm not calling it just yet. Hydra has the chance to push this to Oregon, and if we get to Oregon, it should be anybody's game. Oregon is one of those maps that just everyone knows, everyone plays. Border is one of those maps as well, but Border is a much harder map to go up against Homeless on. Looks like Aviation is going to try to get a nice angle onto the main door here as Houghton is going to peek it. Some shots going towards him, and now Houghton is not so sure about his positioning. Mira not landing those shots is unfortunate. Pojo taking out RTC to start off the round. That is the castle down and out as Mint is throwing in some of his Candelas to try to flush out the remaining defenders inside of Armory. Looks like all of the attackers are focused on this one area. They need to get in there and they need to gain that ground, and they are trying for it. Mail is just sitting nice and safe behind the half wall there. Grenade is going to come in, try to get rid of some barbed wire, gets rid of the bandit batteries that are on the wall there. See if they can open anything up as Adam is going to push in. He's going to take out Mail. Some shots came off towards Adam there, but he did make it out alive, and it's going massively in favor of the attackers so far. It is a 5v3. All defenders remaining are still downstairs.
Yeah, and now Adam's circling from above as we hit we're about to hit the final minute. You've lost the castle as well as the bandit. Aviation had taken some damage playing just on top of that one server unit in workshop looking in towards the front door and ventilation, and now more bucking from above. Jarvis eliminates Rudy Cat. Aviation goes down. It's all up to Nyx in a 1v5. A really good effort so far from Hydra, and now Nyx will get one. That's Houghton down, and once again, he's keeping it inside of the family, but 4 still left as he rotates now. Pushes patiently. He's blocked out. And unfortunately for him, the only way back into sight will give audio cues. Candela's going down as we see Ying emerge for the very first time off of Mint. This could be a pocket strat. They delved out. Nyx sees around the corner, tries to take out Adam, can't complete it, and Adam will take down Nyx and will call it a victory for Homeless as they are your CCS Season 2 Invite champions.
My God, I was on the edge of my seat throughout the entire match. Well fought from Hydra. Congratulations, Homeless. You guys are the champs for this season. Hydra, you guys aren't going home empty-handed, and even though you didn't win, you put up the hardest fight that I've seen from you guys throughout the entire season. You guys tried your hardest, and you guys have improved so much. It's fantastic to see where you guys have come, and I'm ready to see where you guys are going to go. And Taro, do you have anything to add?
The only thing to say is stick around. Don't head out just yet. There is, of course, an announcement coming for the future of CCS. I just have to say thank you for giving me this opportunity. I wanted to thank all the people that I've worked with. It's crazy to think that when I first got invited to cast by both Fluffy, the former owner, and Walker, I never thought it would result in this. I have so much of my success as a caster and person in this community is due to my affiliation and participation in CCS. And I really hope that others can say the same